2013 was James Wan's world, and we were just living in it. Not only did he release The Conjuring that year, but he also released Insidious Chapter 2 later that year. And I remember being really excited for The Conjuring. This movie holds a very special place in my heart because it came out the year that I graduated high school. So 18-year-old me was really excited to see what James Wan was going to be bringing us because at the time, and still am, a huge James Wan fan. And I was just coming high off of The Purge. I know that I'm in the minority that really enjoys that movie, but I was coming off a high off of that movie, and I was really wanting to see another horror film. The fact that this movie got an R rating because it was too scary for PG-13 is one of the most puzzling things that I had ever heard at the time that this movie came out. Because at the time, the movie that really freaked me out was Insidious, and that movie got a PG-13. So the fact that this movie got an R rating, I was expecting a really scary movie. And while it never reached the highs of it being a really scary movie, that one scary movie that just made me want to sleep with the lights on, I was pleasantly surprised by what we got with The Conjuring. The Conjuring takes place in 1970 as we follow paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren, who are summoned to the parents' house where the parents and their five daughters have recently moved into a secluded farmhouse where a supernatural presence has made itself known. The moment the movie starts with a shot of Annabelle, I knew that I was going to be in for a treat because that was one of the most terrifying shots that I had seen at that time. And just to open it that way, where you have Ed and Lorraine Warren talking to a couple of girls with this Annabelle doll who are just freaking the fuck out. A lot of creepy shit is happening around them, and they just want to get rid of this demon, but it keeps coming back. So they call in Ed and Lorraine Warren to come in and be able to dispose of this evil. From that very moment, I was strapped in. I didn't know what to expect going into this movie, and when that shot just magically happened, I knew that we were going to be in for a really nice treat. Plus, just the way that the titling just pops up and just scrolls up slowly is one of the most unsettling things about this movie. And once we get into the parents' house and everything else is happening, that is when all hell breaks loose. And James Wan is a master when it comes down to building tension and creating such creepy atmosphere that it just immediately draws you in. The performances from Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga as Ed and Lorraine Warren is one of the highlights of the film. They have such wonderful chemistry, and I believe this is the second time that Patrick Wilson and James Wan had worked together at the time. That pairing is one that I love and adore, and I love that James Wan was able to make this a bit of a slow burn horror film. You get to know the characters, you get to know the family a little bit more, so you get to see where they are in their point of life. That way, once the supernatural aspects of the movie start to kick in, you do care about this family. You care about what is happening in their home, and you don't want them to die or anything like that. That is what makes this movie a lot more fun and a lot more engaging. Because if you don't care about the characters, then this is going to be just another generic horror film. But since you do care about the characters, then it's more of a generic horror film that you care about the characters and you want to be able to have some fun with them. That way, when all the supernatural things happen, then you are able to get on board with them. And I do love that James Wan is a master at building tension. That is something that this movie really needed, is a lot of tension to grab the side of your seat or to your partner or whoever you're watching the film with. Then once that tension builds and builds and builds and it happens, the fact that James Wan knows not to have a lot of fake outs. There are a couple here and there. He makes the jump scares worth it. That's what I love about James Wan's horror films, is the fact that he knows when to build tension. He knows how to make you wait for it. That way, when the tension happens, then it's a little bit more worth it. You're able to get on board with everything that is going on. And a lot of the cinematography in this movie is absolutely beautiful. Not only is the tension great, the way the movie is shot, the way the characters are placed, even though you know a jump scare is going to happen, the way that they are able to make you guess where it's happening and what's going to happen is really one of the most compelling things about this movie. Because you also have the parents, kids in this movie, and at the time that this movie came out, they were the best child actors that we had in any horror film. It's hard, you don't want to bag too much on child actors when it comes to horror films or any films in general. But everybody in here, from Shane Lee Caswell, Haley McFarland, Joey King, Mackenzie Foy, Kayla Deaver, at the time that this movie came out, they were some of the best child actors that I've seen in any horror film. Whenever they were scared, you bought it. And it's hard for me to say this, but this is the best that Joey King has ever been, because ever since she took on that Netflix deal, she has just not really impressed me. This is the last time that I've seen something great from her. The way that they all reacted to everything that was going on, a lot of that has to do with the direction that they were given, and they played it very well. Ron Livingston and Lily Taylor as the parents were also fantastic. You cared about their situations, you cared about what they were dealing with, and you just wanted them to have a satisfying ending. While this movie doesn't really do a lot to change the genre, it is one of the most influential films that we've had in recent years, and you can see how this movie inspired a lot of different horror films. Because once we get into the house and a lot of the haunting stuff starts to happen, then it becomes a fun haunted house film that you can just have a good time with. It doesn't really do anything new, it's just one that really went on to influence a couple of horror films for better or for worse. And I think that is why I have fun with this movie, because not only did it create the one and probably only horror cinematic universe, you cared about the characters, the supernatural stuff was actually scary, and there were some great jump scares in here that weren't just accompanied by a loud bang. There are a lot of haunting images in this movie that stuck with me for the past 13 years, and I still enjoy this movie every now and then. I don't pop it in as much as I should, but rewatching it again, it's definitely one that I still really enjoy. I still think it's a fun horror film, not a great horror film, but for what it is, it's a fun haunted house film. But those are my thoughts on The Conjuring. Let me know down in the comments if this is a movie that you like or it's one that you just find overrated. Go ahead and drop your thoughts in the comments below. We'll catch you guys for the next video.